This was Prince Harry entering the ring on his first round victory over the Mirror Group last year. Now at the same court, the Duke of Sussex has landed another blow against the tabloids. After denying wrongdoing across decades, today the owners of the Sun newspaper admitted that illegal activity took place on their watch. As part of a multi-million-pound settlement, the company today said,
NGN offers a full and unequivocal apology to the Duke of Sussex for the serious intrusion by the Sun between 1996 and 2011 into his private life, including incidents of unlawful activities carried out by private investigators working for the Sun. NGN further apologises to the Duke for the impact on him of the extensive coverage and serious intrusion into his private life, as well as the private life of Diana, Princess of Wales, his late mother, in particular during his younger years.
After endless resistance, denials and legal battles by newsgroup newspapers, including spending more than £1 billion in payouts and in legal costs, as well as paying off those in the know, in order to prevent the full picture from coming out, News UK is finally held to account for its illegal actions and its blatant disregard for the law.
For years, Prince Harry said that this was not about the money and that he wanted to have his say in court to hold the senior executives at the Sun to account for their intrusion into his life. But today's settlement means that now that will not happen. But even if the Duke had won, he may have been liable to pay millions in legal fees. So far, over 1,300 other claimants have settled, often reluctantly. Former Deputy Labour leader Tom Watson was another victim turned victor today.
Thousands of ordinary people just trying to live their lives have endured the same unlawful behaviour. Many were victims of heinous crimes. I wish I could bring justice for everyone newsgroup newspapers has ruined and bullied, but I can't. Our system remains stacked against victims in favour of the powerful.
Rebecca Brooks remains the CEO of Rupert Murdoch's News UK, which owns the Sun newspaper.
Hello, William. How are you?
After resigning in 2011 over the initial hacking allegations, Brooks was rehired in 2015 and remains in post despite today's apology covering the period she was editor of both The Sun and The News of the World.
Well, I think the tabloid press will say to you, this was a long time ago, things have changed, it was all in the past. But the question I would ask is, why are those same senior executives still in charge, and how do we know things have changed?
This moment has been years in the making, and despite details of the case not being heard in court, Prince Harry and the campaigners against tabloid intrusion have declared the apology to be a victory and have now called on the police and the Prime Minister to act. Campaigners now say they plan to pass on evidence to the authorities. The question is, will they act? Or will Prince Harry's royal rumble with the tabloid be a win without a knockout?
Well, a little earlier I spoke to Alan Rusbridger, former editor-in-chief of The Guardian and current editor of Prospect magazine. I asked first if he sees this as the end or the beginning of a criminal investigation into what happened.
Well, I think it would have been better to have it all tested in court in the way that Harry's case against Mirror Group newspapers was tested, and the judge came to findings of fact. So we haven't got facts here. But I thought it was quite significant at the end that Tom Watson, Lord Watson, said that they were going to hand the whole dossier of evidence over to the police. So I think in that sense it's now in the police's decision whether they're going to carry through and look at allegations of criminal behaviour, of perjury, of destruction of evidence and so forth. So I don't think it's the end.
Disturbing though, isn't it? There's a sense in which it is justice, but justice for the super wealthy. One doubts whether Tom Watson would have been involved had he not been, to some extent, able to hang the case financially on the deep coffers of Prince Harry.
Well, it was also the deep pockets of Rupert Murdoch. I mean, someone was going to lose 10 million at the end of this case, and Prince Harry has made sure it wasn't him. And in that sense, Rupert Murdoch has been able to do what he's done in other court actions, which is to buy his way out of the justice system and made sure that these allegations aren't heard. And what we've got here is the original crime, and you remember the defence there was that it was one rotten apple. And then in the subsequent 15 years of cover-up, that shifted to it was one rotten newspaper. And now they finally admitted that it was more than one rotten newspaper. So we haven't been given the truth over a long period of time. And that matters because this is a newspaper at the heart of it. This is about journalism, and journalists are supposed to tell the truth. News organisations are supposed to tell the truth.
And it's not just the Murdoch stable, Associated Newspapers, Mail on Sunday and so forth. There are certainly a lot of rumours. There is also outstanding legal action in that department, isn't there? This has not gone away.
There are more cases to come, and it'll be interesting to see whether Associated they want to fight through in the way that the Mirror Group did, or whether they'll do what Murdoch did, which is to not want this tested in court. I mean, the blackening of Prince Harry's name and his wife by large chunks of Fleet Street has been really awful to watch. And it seems like an almost deliberate tactic to destroy the credibility of somebody who is a threat to them. And I suppose one thing that you hope is going to come out of this action after the really grovelling apology by Murdoch, not only to Harry but also to his mother, Princess Diana, that it would be really unseemly now if they just started that all over again now that he's won this case.
And the Murdoch executive down there at Wapping, Rebecca Brooks, her words revisited today: I ran a clean ship, meaning the Sun. That seems somewhat in tatters, to put it mildly.
Well, it was the Prince Harry's QC used the word, it wasn't a clean ship, it was a criminal enterprise. I mean, it is extraordinary that Rebecca Brooks is still in position tonight, indeed for the last 15 years, apart from the time when she wasn't. And it's difficult to think of any parallel in any other aspect of corporate life where the CEO, who's now admitted today that her company was indulging in unlawful activities while she was editor for 6 years, should still be in place.
And to those who say, oh, come on, look, you know, this is all a long time ago, the tabloids have long since been eclipsed by social media, which is much darker in some ways, let's face it. Time to move on. What do you say?
Well, you can't have it both ways. The Murdoch organisation is a powerful organisation. It sets the agenda. It wants to be noticed. Its chief executive is a very powerful person. I think the legacy media wants to be believed, wants to regain trust and see off social media. And it's difficult to see how it can do that in these kind of circumstances.
Alan Rusbridger, thanks very much indeed for joining us.